Everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect, episode 140. Today's date is April 16th, 2022, and I am Duds, or Duds versus known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Jimbo. You may know me as Jimbo Slice 23. Today we got two special guests from the Channel 64 server, Aerington and Dave. Welcome to the show.
Way to go, Jimbo. Had one job.
Thanks, great to be here.
So before we start the show, you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Aerington, and I make YouTube videos on the Channel 64 SMP, which I actually co-founded with Dave here. We're trying to make a story-based kind of server. We've been putting a lot of work into having some kind of through-line stories, as well as just balancing that story with everybody's individual videos and individual stories as well. A lot of background lore, as well as some great content creators and builds.
Great builds.
We try to couple that now with bringing in some special guests, as Duds would know, as having appeared with us not very recently.
I wouldn't say special, but
Oh, we would.
definitely just kind of threw myself. Hey, guys, I'm coming on your server to do some stuff.
It's like force yourself.
Hey, it worked out very well, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it turned out well.
I don't go shy now, Duds. Come on. We loved having you, mate.
I'm always shy. It's weird because it's one of my first big collabs with an entirely different group of people.
No pressure at all. Just a ton of new faces all at once.
And on top of that, I knew I was creating a video different than any of the other videos I had made.
I think whenever you try something new, it can become really nerve-wracking as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was stressed the entire week and a half I was recording it.
It just stresses me out talking to new people, period. And I do the onboarding for Channel 64. It's terrible.
What's funny is all the guests we have on the show, doesn't matter who it is, I always get like real nervous ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start talking to everybody and it just comes laid back, pretty chill. So yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I won't lie. Talked with Duds earlier in the week, and that really balanced things out for me because I was super stressed. And then I was like, you know what? We all get along pretty well. It's nice and smooth. I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's all this podcast is just a couple people talking about Minecraft.
I like that game.
I think there is actually this weird correlation there where like people that have social anxieties end up becoming content creators.
Yeah.
And even though we're playing to an audience, but we still, it's an outlet for us and there's no faces, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It helps.
Do we want to talk a bit about our weeks, guys? Or is there anything you can give us without too much spoilers?
Actually, yeah, my week was, I got a little bit of planning done for my next Channel 64 episode. I got some creative work done, but I lost most of my work to Channel 64 admin. Like I said, we've been working really hard on prepping for Season 2 and closing out Season 1 at the same time. So there's all the stress of trying to finish your build mixed with trying to make sure that the story and everything goes smoothly next season. We're trying to figure out how to better approach that with potentially more people and a different approach. We're trying to go a little more individualistic with the story, but that will add up to one main goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And then on top of that was just a bunch of, as far as recruiting and stuff, we got our open recruitment video out, kind of like a call to anybody interested in Season 2.
Hear that, guys? Everyone listening?
Hoping to add a survey or some kind of format document to that later today, actually. Make it a little more official.
Recruitment is the hardest thing.
Absolutely. Because then you have to talk to them, too. I hate it.
Oh, man.
No, for me, you're always looking for someone you feel is a good fit for the server, who everyone will become friends with easily. Because if you start rubbing each other the wrong way, then the game becomes not fun.
Oh, exactly.
You don't want that.
It's a heavy balance of who makes content in a way that will like edify us and make all of us better as content creators, but also in a similar enough line that we're going to work together really well and collaborate. And also, like you said, the biggest part together is just making a community. It's not, no matter how many people you have, it's not going to be a good server if you can't get along, collab, and just have fun together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you also want to have those people that you can just, go and smash out some mini games that might not even be for content. You want to just do stuff with people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually become friends.
Yeah, it's all about finding friends in the internet, which is not something I ever thought I'd be doing.
Finding friends with social anxiety over millions of miles through a cord.
It's easier if you know they're a long way away.
Finding people whose social anxieties match yours.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft helps.
My week's been a little bit different. I don't have to worry about the admin bit because my admin part is if it breaks, I have to fix it. So nothing's broken. I'm good.
There you go.
So I've just spent, I've spent my time. I think, Duds, last week you were talking about how you almost get your creative block in creative and you find it's a little bit easier to get into survival and just start building.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on that boat as well. And that it sucks for time lapses, but that's what I've been doing this week. And I've been trying to, as Aerington said, closing out the season, where I'm trying to get builds finished. So I'm working instead of on a build, I'm working on a suburb, and it's big. There's just a lot, and without a plan, it's a monster. So yeah, it's been a great week, really.
The way you guys build too, it's like I look at my little like base expansion build. That's something you guys would probably throw together in a couple minutes and way more detailed. And then you see like P-Port this week threw up like 3 buildings in a neighborhood. You're talking about building a suburban area. I've seen your miniature city next to Jess. Jess's trapdoor details crazy. It's like I don't even know where to start with like some of my builds. So it's just like, okay, we're gonna place a block here and go.
And then finding all that to balance with time and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And time per episode. I need to be much, much better about saying, all right, hey, we got half this build done, but like it's huge. So we'll finish it next episode. I want to get back to kind of a time-based more so where it's like, hey, I made this episode in a week. Here's what the episode is. Or 2 weeks, and then that's the end of the episode. But right now I'm in such a, well, I want to finish this, and this. So I'm on the opposite spectrum where I'm finishing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I planned almost half of a whole city block coming up, and I'm trying to debate if I want to make it in like one episode or drag it out. But also, like I said, with trying to finish things before the end of the season, that's not much of an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's times where you spend so much time building, like the builds you guys make, all the detail and stuff, for it to be 1 minute in your episode because you time-lapse the whole thing. That's the only thing that like gets me when I'm building something like it. Takes a lot of time to do this stuff, and you got to fill in all the other content besides the builds. And there's another creative aspect to that when making a video.
And then there's interiors.
Yes. And then the storytelling.
Oh no, I could do interiors. I'll do interiors all day, every day.
Oh, I'm happy to do interiors. It's just when you've got like the bigger build to go, like the green building that you saw, Duds.
Mm-hmm.
That has like 6 floors worth of apartments, and there's just no way I'm spending the time. I like, not for a building I'm not going to go back into and show the inside of anyway. I don't have the time. It's that simple.
Ultimately, the outside of the building is going to get seen throughout all the rest of the episodes, but that interior is going to get seen literally once.
That's true.
If that.
What you could do is the side that doesn't get seen into enough, do like, you have your exterior window, and then go back a block, do another window, go back a block, do another window, and then do black concrete behind it. So it just looked like the lights are off in that apartment, and you can't see inside of it.
That's smart.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I thought for a second you were going to say just cut the back of it off like a Lego building, and then you can see all the interiors.
I mean, you could do that too, but...
The elytra access alone.
I was thinking about the lazy way of doing interiors.
Like a Barbie house.
What would Duds do? Oh, he would just make this a black wall so you can't see inside of it.
I've actually been taking signs and boarding up buildings where I'm just gonna make it look decrepit. I'll throw a couple cobwebs in there and then make it so you don't want to go inside, or it looks like there's nothing inside from the outside.
Yeah.
True.
I'm contemplating with that suburb to have a couple of signs out the front that say for sale. That way I can have an excuse for it being empty.
Well, that's smart.
True.
I'll put it in a sink. That'll be enough. Yeah.
You can have Jimbo be your realtor.
I could sell anything, even with cobwebs in it.
Collab opportunity? What?
I'll sell it for you.
Well, Jess and I are having a visitor problem in our area. There's just no tourism going on. It's frustrating us.
Oh, well, I'll take that personally.
We can solve that.
You're the only one we've had.
And I traveled a long distance to come visit you.
Exactly.
And you just wanted to leave.
It was appreciated, though.
This is true. I was just there so I could go home. Jimbo, I think it might be your turn for what you've done this week.
Oh, I thought it was your turn.
It's your turn.
Okay, my turn. I built a couple things, actually. Just finished my episode this morning, got my thumbnail done, ready to upload. It'll be out tomorrow for you guys. It'd have been Sunday. I built a blacksmith house on my base. I built a villager house my last episode, and I want to expand on that. I want to build more smaller buildings of that type around my area. And I have a couple blacksmiths or armor smiths and toolsmiths, and I needed them to have a nice place to live. So I built one of those. That'll be early in the episode. And later, a bigger building that I've been wanting to build is a nightclub over in the shopping district.
Yeah. Body odor.
What's that?
Body odor.
Oh, no, it's not body odor. It's called Bad Omen. It's going to be ran by a bunch of pillagers, which should be fun.
It's definitely BO.
Yeah, the initials are BO. I put BO real big.
I will be anxiously awaiting the villager karaoke, especially after last episode.
Oh, yeah.
I have to know, how did you get them to sing like that?
That was a song done by, I can't remember, something animation that I came across. I can't remember the name.
You say that. Now I can't remember their name, and I would have known.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this would go perfect in this episode.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, I got to use this. Yeah, they're pretty well known. They got a couple villager songs, but that one was more them. I don't know. There was no words. There's some where they're singing actual words. It's pretty comical.
Well, I was just sitting there going, are they singing the Game of Thrones song?
They are. That's what it was.
That was fantastic.
What's funny is I've never watched Game of Thrones, so I didn't know what they were singing.
Come on, Jimbo.
Works, though. It sounded great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just like the beautiful tones. But, yeah, blacksmith house, nightclub.
Element animation.
Element animation. Yeah, that's where the song came from.
That makes sense.
I knew the name. I had to Google it. Carl is yelling, now I have to edit out all those clicky clacks from the keyboard. No, but Jimbo's nightclub is really cool. Have you logged back into the server since me and Carl were there?
Yes, I think. Did you put a hole in the floor?
Dang it. Did you not fall in the hole?
I did fall in the hole.
Yes!
I wasn't recording.
No!
The thing, I backed up. Okay, because I left abruptly when I was talking to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it now. I was like, what, did a creeper blow up in here? I didn't know what was going on.
No.
But yeah, I fell in the hole, burnt myself. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. I love your nightclub. Did you see Corrales and Azuma's last video?
Yeah.
They have a data pack now that allows you to redstone jukeboxes.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you can put music discs in with a hopper and a dropper or dispenser or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that not vanilla yet?
I have no clue.
Right.
I think you can do it on Bedrock?
Can you?
I don't know. Bedrock people.
Would it be a surprise if the parody isn't there? Would it really be a surprise?
Oh, no, it wouldn't be.
No. That's like the potions and the cauldrons.
I want potion cauldrons so much.
It's so cool.
I want other tipped arrows. That's where I'm at. I am a mending on my bow person.
You can find potions in the witch hut cauldrons in Bedrock, and that's so cool. It's like regeneration and things.
Yeah, that is cool.
We get water and we get lava. How about milk? Can we get milk in the cauldron? That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be practical to have a cauldron.
Oh, yeah, no, not practical. But
It'd be worth having instead of going after a cow. Well, I guess the cow's infinite. A cow and a cauldron.
No one on our server appreciated me in a cauldron.
I remember that scene still.
See, if we had potions in the cauldron and the little bubbles coming up, that would have made it just that much better.
It would have. It was a bubble bath. Pink water, bubbly. Like, yeah, all right, I'll take it.
Should we go ahead and hop into the news?
Did you want to talk about your week?
Yeah, I don't think you covered your week.
Well, the only things I've done this week were the base builds that I talked about earlier, and then I did Omni's Maze, which it's an Omni mini game, so your head hurts afterwards.
Yeah, I like his mazes.
Yeah, that was like a 40-minute I'm gonna kill somebody rager.
That was an epic concept, though. The vertical parkour-ish emphasis maze.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That was so cool.
that's Omni. Omni does stuff like that left and right. You're just like, how do you think of this? And then also, how do you beat this?
Yeah, I think he's made like a dozen mazes for the ripple effect,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all unique. Pretty neat.
Yeah, not a single one's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Except for maybe his water tube one. Because he did that last season. Then he did another one this season.
That's one thing right now with all the story focus we've had that we have been lacking is the mini game area. I know we had Heaporp did some mini games and like a little fishing mini game and a snowball target practice, but aside from that, I don't think we've had much in the way of mini games or even pranks really.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a big prank guy.
But they make such great content. We gotta
They do.
double down season 2 pranks and mini games.
I'm going to remember that. You just painted a target.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up with something like memorable to actually pull it off. You know, you just don't
Yeah.
want to do any old prank, but something big or, you know, something that makes sense. Like Duds built a giant bee at my base last season with a bunch of bees inside it. Made sense. I hate the bees. I don't like the bees.
Wasn't there a panda prank at Dud's base last season?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a skull,
Yeah, see?
not a panda.
Yeah, no, I don't know about that.
Good opportunity.
I'm pretty sure that was a panda.
Carl is just giddy with excitement right now. I'm a tiny prank guy. It needs to have an effect, and it's not going to take someone hours to clean up.
I feel like if you're going to do some form of prank that like is going to make a mess, you have to be happy to help fix it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like I'm all for any prank, but like let's say something took out the scaffolding around my building in progress. That took a while.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely want somebody helping me put that stuff back up.
Yeah. And the last thing I did this week was actually in creative mode a bit. Carl made mention that I was going to build a house, and I basically put that on the back burner because I couldn't think of anything creatively. And then I thought of something, and then I spent an entire day in creative mode building something that I don't have the supplies for.
Nice.
I need calcite. Jimbo, does anyone on the server have calcite in mass quantities?
I need calcite.
Oh no!
I know. Or else I'd help, but no, I need it. I'd give you some, but can't have it.
Well, I'm trying to think if I have more Ripcoin than you so I can buy it off someone else.
Where is calcite now? Is that the Windswept Mountains?
Stony Peaks.
Yeah, you can find it in mountains. I don't know if it's windswept, but I know you can find it in mountains. I came across one when I was looking for a different Badlands. There's mountains right next to it with a bunch of calcite. Maybe I can find that again, direct you that way, but yeah, it's not easy to get a hold of if you don't have that. And then the other place I see a patch of it, someone's building next to it, so don't want to destroy that.
Yeah, can't steal that.
Just replace it with diorite. It'll be fine. They won't know the difference.
They'll never know.
Just dig one layer under it. Someday they'll be like, I don't want this calcite here anymore, and they just fall through.
It's hollow.
I can't be that mean. Of course, if you go around my base and you dig randomly, more than likely you'll fall in a ravine. There was like 6 ravines in my base that I've had to cover over.
Well, because you have that massive lush cave under your base, don't you?
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I took some coarse dirt and podzol from you, but I try to take it to where I'm not making a mess.
If you go over the river, I'm not planning on building over there.
Okay.
Can I complain about Podzol for a second?
Nah, Podzol's awesome.
Absolutely.
I love Podzol. I hate that they made it create with 2 tall trees because it completely just got rid of all of the use of the mega taigas. There's no need to go there anymore. That was a part of my game I enjoyed, was the exploration and going to a mega taiga, finding one, like stripping it down of pod soul. But we don't need to do that anymore. And now pod soul's just not as unique or fun to use.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about like jungle trees. I don't have to go to a jungle to get a jungle trees. I can just trade with a wandering trader.
Oh, if you can find one.
That's true, but you do still need to go to a jungle for
Yeah, other stuff.
what, like cocoa beans? And
I think you can still trade that with the wandering trader.
can you get cocoa beans too?
I think so.
Well, if you need a parrot, if you need a panda.
Easiest way for bamboo. There's still enough perks, I think. It'd be easier.
Oh, yeah.
There is podzol in the jungle too.
Oh, there is now. You're right.
Yeah, at the bamboo forest.
Yeah. So we just need another pod soul replacement that is unique that I have to go find.
See, you hear a lot, people want renewable blocks. They want blocks in abundance. Not often do you hear, we're getting too much of this stuff.
I think it needs to be a balance. I think,
Yeah.
because you can still renew pod soul once you have it, but I think the part of the exploration and getting it in the first place, they took that away a bit.
Yeah. They are pushing for like an exploration type with the wild update.
And see, the thing is, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't care to go exploring and everything like that. If I can farm my items for my builds, I'd rather have it that way.
That's why playing on an SMP is great, because then you just farm them from the shopping district.
Yup.
Take my money.
You get to pick what you go looking for.
Exactly. Now, I say we get into the news.
If you insist.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Before we get to the big thing, which is the sonic boom attack, let's go over some smaller thing. Like mud now generates deeper than it did before.
That looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Good change.
So instead of being a surface layer block, it'll go all the way down to stone level, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm really excited for mud personally. When I first got back into Minecraft, because I took like a 6-year hiatus. I'm old. Minecraft cost me $5. That's how old I am.
Jeez.
I used to when they brought out the soul sand, the one that doesn't make bubble elevators, that underwater.
So soil.
Is that the soil? Whichever one it is that doesn't make the bubble elevators, made such a great mud texture, and I got so excited that I could finally put mud under my streams and rivers that I was using rather than having gravel or dirt.
I mean, it still kind of does, though, because it's got more of that brown, which is probably my one complaint with mud, is I wish it was a tad bit more brown myself.
Yeah, it is pretty gray, like a darkish gray.
I think it's a bit purple.
Yeah, it's a gray, purpley, bluish.
Everything ends up a little purple.
It's giving us another gradient element under the water.
Yeah.
Now, the dried mud blocks, though, gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm really digging that brick.
Just the right shade of brown,
Mm-hmm.
also known as tan.
Off-white. But yeah, more mud's good. I like that change.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, that is another one of those blocks that are very renewable. So is there a benefit to having it go down deeper for, the casual player?
I think when you run into some weird terrain generation, it'll still look better that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That is true.
The bottom of the mangrove riverbeds kind of area.
And speaking of mangrove, we have more tall mangrove trees than short ones, which is completely transforming that. My next starter base will be in a mangrove swamp.
I am not touching swamp again next season.
Neither am I. That's not.
Swamp water has killed it. It was great while it was, and now I'm over it.
It's been fun, but yeah, there are so many elements that you just don't consider.
It's one of the only places I've not built is a swamp.
Yeah, it did seem like one of the more rare areas. It was fun to start Channel 64 in such a kind of unused biome, and not unused. I'm sure there are people using it all over the place, but you don't see it as common as a big starter area on SMP.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably because of slimes and other annoying factors, but fun challenge.
The swamp always had like a nice feel to it, just atmosphere wise. I do like the mangrove swamps, the atmosphere is a lot better. I can't wait till they bring in the fireflies so you can really get the full feel of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love the height that they added to the trees. I love that you can walk in between the roots, and the roots feel like roots, but also like Minecraft. You can kind of see through them. It makes sense, but they're not just so overpowering.
One thing that could be annoying, but I kind of like it, is how they have the moss carpets on there. Like, I know these, at least my inventory, gets polluted with all this moss stuff when I'm dealing with this. But it just seems like a natural thing, to have the moss carpets generate on these mangrove trees. But then again, a lot of the trees that generate there doesn't have that same color, because the moss has that vibrant green, but the trees doesn't. So I'm still got a little bit of mixed feelings about the carpets generating on there.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's a little bright.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still personally in the camp of, I really wish moss was different per biome. I think had the moss looked like dead grass in the desert, then we could have hid lighting in the desert better. I think, to your point, if the moss looked a little darker in the swamp, in the mangrove forest, it would blend a little better.
Right.
I mean, I know we're past the development of the moss as it is, but I would love to see the moss carpet stack in the same way that snow layers do.
Yeah.
That would solve a lot of pathing issues, when you're terraforming and stuff. But that's, again, not really update relevant.
Well, you guys are talking about hiding lighting and stuff, and that's something Ripple Effect hasn't had to worry about for close to a year now, because we brought the light block over from creative mode and craft and stuff. So you're like, well, hide lighting here. And it's like, I just put the invisible light block down.
Right.
Get yourself a winter.
Well, and in general, just lighting since 1.18 has been fantastic.
Yes.
I still find myself overlighting caves every time I'm caving like crazy.
Same.
Oh, I try to be so strategic when I light things. It's something in my, I try to be sparing with my torches all the time.
Oh no, I'm a torch spam everywhere kind of person. I am still, same deal. I am lighting like it's 2019.
I do wish I was a little better about lighting, because I'm not thrilled about how I can't find coal lower in the world.
Yeah.
Even if it was sporadic and rare, that and the deep slate coal block was gorgeous. I used it all over my base this season, and to know that I won't be able to find that next season really, really stink. Yeah, I would love if coal was even just rare at lower levels, because there's a point where I understand the need to plan to go caving, but I always liked the worst case scenario. If you were caving, you could maybe find a mine shaft and there's wood. You could find an aquifer and then there's fishing. You could find spiders and make wool out of the string. There were those options, but those are limited now by the fact that you're down there and there's less coal to find. I guess you could still do charcoal, but
I've moved to charcoal.
no one uses charcoal.
No, I've moved to charcoal. That's what my single
Really?
player has done to me, because I am down at that deep slate level and not going to the surface. So I have adapted to charcoal and I am okay with it. You just need to plan ahead.
Maybe that's the natural progression. It's charcoal.
So if you have a tree farm, it makes a lot of sense. The way Jimbo has his whole underground setup this season is he has a moss farm that's turning everything into bone meal, that's feeding a tree farm. So he could basically have free renewable charcoal whenever he wants.
Yes, but I don't. Use coal. I have no other use for coal, so I just make torches. But I've been, I put torches down for so long, and then they come up and get replaced.
Yeah.
Then I got my torches again to spam somewhere else.
Well, and you don't even necessarily need coal as much for furnaces anymore either,
Right.
do you? Because I think, Duds, were you the one that did the lava farm right next to your furnaces?
They weren't right next to it, but it was in the iron storage area.
Right? That's genius. I had never thought of that.
And it worked out really. The problem was having to constantly switch out the buckets. I have gone to blaze rods again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing with lava. Whilst it's fantastic as a fuel, it's a manual process, so you need to do so much on your own.
If you know you're mass smelting something, then having a couple dozen lava buckets is great. But if you're just smelting one or two items, I got 2 stacks of sand I want to turn into glass, the lava bucket's a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm one of those that I always want my furnaces to have fuel waiting.
Right.
So I don't have to think about adding fuel.
So maybe it's a more starter solution.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm on the bamboo train for furnaces personally.
Yeah, if you get enough of it.
You'd be surprised how far it stretches.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get a lot of bamboo when farming.
So then the natural progression is lava furnace, coal, and then bamboo. Unless you get like Withering or Blaze Farm.
Yeah.
I need to get to the point where I use blaze rods again because last I tried was Bedrock years ago, and I don't think it parodied, unless I'm completely incorrect.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know if blaze rods work in Bedrock.
I'd have to assume they do. That'd be weird if they didn't. But then again,
Yeah, then again, it'd be weird, but also, yeah, that makes sense. That's Minecraft. That's parody.
So because we're about to bring it up, what are you guys' thoughts on the Warden?
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think for the longest time they were saying that there was going to be some way you couldn't pillar up and cheese it, and I think it's here now, and I think it's great. It makes sense. I don't know what else could have been expected. Obviously, the sonic and the sound just makes sense with the Warden. It has the orifice, the little mouth section on the stomach anyways. Like it, I think it's the logical conclusion.
It is genuinely like that mechanic, the visual mechanic really goes with the creepiness of the Warden as well.
Mm-hmm.
The opening of the jaw on its torso is nightmare fuel.
Mm-hmm. The animation. I like that animation.
Yeah, I think it's great.
The range and through blocks, fantastic.
So for people who don't know what we're talking about the Warden's new ranged attack, which is like it shoots out sound waves, and I think it's like 20 blocks they travel,
Yeah, it's got an insane
which is
range.
insane.
I really appreciate that they've made it targeted.
Right.
So, like, whilst, this is a solution for don't have to just pillar up, but if you're prepared enough, you might actually be able to create different targets for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Well, and there was talk about changing the way the sonic boom works so it could go through walls and stuff. Honestly, I think that's a mistake.
Does it not go through walls? I thought in the video I watched that it did.
It can.
It does.
Maybe it does now. Maybe my information was early.
It does go through walls. I think maybe it needs to be dampened through walls. I think maybe that's a part of the problem because it does is it 8 damage? It's like 4 hearts worth of damage. It's quite a lot of damage on Prot 4 Netherite. That's a big hit, and I understand it's supposed to be a deterrent, but maybe that's a bit too much of a deterrent. Maybe.
Well, see, and my thought was if you could hide behind wool blocks, maybe it should dampen it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or here's the thing I've been wanting for a while now. You know how you can put banners on a shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Banners are made out of wool. You put a banner on the shield, now the shield can deflect or at least dampen the sonic boom.
Yeah.
Giving you a reason to carry a shield.
That's actually a brilliant idea, especially because I think recently on Twitter they were saying that they're going to change it to a magic attack so that it can't be properly mitigated. But if you were to mitigate it through its own sound dampening mechanic, like the banner on a shield, that's using intentional game design, maybe.
Right.
Not to bring up Bedrock again, but have they parodied the banner on Shield and Bedrock yet?
I think they have.
That sounds like one of them they might have at this point.
I think it was recently, too.
That makes sense.
It'd be nice to use the shield to deflect it, like send it back to the Warden somehow, too. I feel like the shield should have way more abilities than just to block.
WyreGuy, who's listening live, is saying, nope, they have not put banners on shields yet.
It's a shame. That's such a good mechanic.
Yeah.
Check mark for Bedrock.
I think even if it broke a shield, a bannered shield, I mean, at the strength of the Warden, that still makes sense. And I mean, you could still cheese it and have a bunch of them, but you'd still have to risk the distance and getting close enough to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no matter what Mojang does, within an hour of the snapshot coming out, people will know how to cheese it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even a cheese, is it? All you need to do is hit shift, and it's not coming after you. So, like, we're talking about when we're saying cheesing it, we're saying a way to make life easy about it rather than mitigate it into.
Well, if it's spawned, even hitting shift, it'll still come after you because now the Warden can smell you.
Yeah, it can smell you.
Oh, that's right. They brought a smell.
It can smell you up to 20 blocks now instead of 6.
So really the only way to cheese it as of right now that I know of is to just not have it spawn.
Or run really, really fast.
It runs faster.
It does. That's the problem.
Fly really, really fast.
Yeah.
But then that brings up the argument of why sneak, if he can sniff you now, unless the sneak works.
Isn't the sneak to avoid the shriekers?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as you're not spawning him in the first place by the shriekers calling him, then you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
In theory.
In theory.
Of course, all of this adds up to why would I want to kill it in the first place yet?
Well, it's not, aside from the fact that they haven't given it a loot table, even if they do, they still have stated so many times it's a mob designed to be avoided, not killed. And I think that's something that, we, as players, we're like, let's, there's a new boss mob, let's kill it. That's, it's end game now. But
let's farm it.
The end game part of it is to avoid it, not to kill it. So there is that question in there too.
But something, even just like a big old Warden mob head.
Yeah, maybe some kind of achievement or trophy.
I would love if they... I know it's kind of Terraria, but I really wish they brought over that banner mechanic where you beat a boss or you beat something, you unlock. They either give you a special banner or maybe a banner pattern. I used to collect the End City banners all the time. I know they're not special and you can make them yourself, but it was the fact that it's like, well, I got it from there. That felt like an achievement to me.
Oh yeah, I still do that. I have an in-city banner. I have a patrol captain banner.
Exactly. I wish that was a more common thing. Like maybe there's a Warden banner, there's a Dragon banner.
Yeah.
That would be great. A Wither banner.
Well, we have the snout pattern.
That's true.
So maybe we are going to see a new banner pattern come out of the ancient cities. We're still seeing them add more loot all the time. Like we've got the Echo Shards now, and whilst they might be a little underwhelming, it's definitely something that is new.
Mm-hmm. Pretty unique.
There's room for more, and I think that's also something that we need to remember. Like we push and push and push for more and more and more, but like the devs, they're doing a great job. Like even when people are like, oh, this was an underwhelming update, look at where it came from. Look at the point at which Notch said, I'm done, and sold it to Microsoft. They continued to push for a good product for everybody that everyone can enjoy, and the visuals improve and everything. And I think the main thing that we ever hear in a complaint is storage.
Yeah.
Better item management. Like we want to be able to hold more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny how the community asks for similar things. Like we need this, and then they wow us with something completely different that we didn't see coming. I really like that.
And it's always met well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not by everyone. Like you're never going to be able to please everyone.
Well, a lot of time they are solutions too. They're solutions to what you wanted, just not the way you thought you were going to get it. And I think they're really good at that and keeping things. You always hear the talk about keeping things in Minecraft, and I think that's what they do well. Is they do hear us and they take it at the pace of what they can do to the level they want to do. So like we got the Nether update, and no one was thinking, oh boy, the Nether update's coming, but it came, and they put in the levels and the variations for biome height, and then they use that to work towards the Caves and Clips update, which has been fantastic and what everybody was always wanting, but they had to put in the steps to get there first.
I'm just waiting to get Jens's board game collection in game.
I would love to see. Inventory is obviously my big gripe, and I've been using a data pack, or not a data pack, I don't know what you would call it. It's a mod, but it's a client-side one that allows you to do the hotbar rotation that I've been talking about as an inventory fix.
Mm-hmm.
And that took so much to get used to. Like, I'm still not fully used to it, but when it comes to building something, it really is a great solution. Because you look at your hotbar now, the way I have my hotbar set up, I have 3 spaces for blocks. That's it. So I was constantly having to throw blocks in and out. And now this rotation effect, I have 9 spaces for blocks. So I have an entire block palette in place. And then I just double that block palette twice. So I have 2 hotbars. So if I run out of a certain block, I can just rotate and rotate. And so like Aaron's just saying, there are fixes out there. So if you're like me who desperately wants an inventory update, take a look. It's not modded feeling. It feels vanilla still.
I feel like that points out the fact, though, that it's not 100% an inventory problem, though, either.
Yeah.
It's a tool management problem. If we had places or hotbar slots or, I don't know, maybe phantom echo shard slots that you could unlock to put your tools in, then we wouldn't have so much of an inventory problem or access to things problem. But it relies on the fact that you have to carry so much with you. You have to carry bow, you have to carry arrows, you have to carry an ender chest.
Your netherite hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie here, Duds. You saying that you've got room for 3 things, I'm jealous. I have room for 1 once I finish my hotbar.
See?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tools pretty much dominate the hotbars. It'd be cool to have, like you guys are saying, some kind of like tool belt.
Batman.
I mean, you didn't say that, but a tool belt.
That's yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Tool belt, arrow sheath, anything, backpack, anything logical to put your tools and put the things you have to have in a separate slot.
And I mean, I think that mod you're using, Duds, has you press like Shift 1 or Shift 2 to switch your hotbars. There's plenty of other games out there that, like your MMOs and stuff, where you let's try that again. There's plenty of other MMOs out there where you're shifting between hotbars, and it's your directional keys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your WASD is your movement keys, so your directional keys up and down switches your hotbar. It's a quick fix on that one. Take your hand off your mouse for half a second, and you're not having to pick two keys. You're not using a key that I'm switching between these 2 tools quickly, so I'm using my numbers person.
Yeah, but see, I'm a controller person, so
fair enough, yeah.
Right.
I have a limited amount of keys to press anyways, which is why I've added a keyboard to my controller, and I just press O, and it cycles through for me.
Right, yeah.
Well, and like you said, though, it doesn't leave the range of Minecraft, because you can do that in creative. You can have those specific hotbars.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we are getting late in the show, and we haven't left the news segment yet, guys.
Oops.
Right.
So,
sorry, Carl.
I'm going to talk about two big update changes. The change to no blocks where only wool and carpets would block sounds, that's been reverted. So that fixes the redstone issues that we were having with some farms. And carpets will now place quieter. So placing carpets won't summon the Warden now either. Those are the big 2 changes that were left in the snapshot.
I mean, that sounds like it's, makes sense changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, logical. Oh, the LA regens.
Oh, the LA, has 2 health per second regen.
I like that. So that's the news.
We did have a listener comment. I'm going to save it. We'll either talk about it next week or during the post show. J-Man, your comment was going to be for it, so I'll probably save it for next week.
You can do that.
Be looking out for that. But the comment was from our Discord, and the Discord is the only place where you can talk to everyone who works on the show easily. Just take Dr. Disappointment's word for it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Disappointment, and I'm here to ask why you haven't joined the Withering Effect Discord. It's the perfect place to meet and hang out with fellow Minecraft players, and meet the lovely people who worked hard to bring you this show. Why not join today? You can find a link in the show notes.
Thank you for the Discord ad, Dr. Disappointment. Speaking of the Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in our Mending Minecraft vote. This week we asked you to choose between one of 3 structures for us to discuss and improve. Your choices were Village, Mineshaft, and In City.
And the winner of Mending Minecraft this week is Mineshaft with 43 votes. That's a lot of votes.
Not even close.
Yeah, the village had 5 and End City with 12. So, congratulations, Mineshaft.
The people want to see a new Mineshaft.
I was definitely one of those mineshaft votes. I've got a list of things I'm excited to explain.
Good, because I don't have a list of things.
So a few things on the mineshaft. A mineshaft is a generated structure found underground or underwater, having mazes of tunnels with cave spiders and ores exposed on the walls or floors regularly. Mineshafts are also often generated on the surface in badland biomes. Other mineshafts contain oak planks, fences, and oak wood, but the Badlands mineshafts contain the dark oak variants. These mineshafts also contain rails, cobwebs, fences, or torches, minecarts and chests, chains, and cave spider spawners. Some notable loot found in the minecarts are name tags, iron and gold ingots, lapis, redstone, coal, every sort of rail, golden apples, enchanted books, and diamonds. That's it for the mineshaft.
Diamonds? Really? I don't think I...
Can you not find saddles in there?
Maybe. Let me check.
I might be crazy because I've always looked for saddles everywhere.
No, there's no saddles in mineshafts.
I've wasted so much time.
I don't think I've ever found a diamond in a mineshaft.
I have.
Yes, there are diamonds.
Oh, guess I'm just unlucky.
There are more things, but that was more like the notable stuff. Like you can find a bunch of seeds, bread, glowberries.
So many seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so fixes for the Minecraft for the mine shaft. We already got a bit of a visual fix with caves and cliffs with the chains.
Yeah, finally, no more floating
Uh-huh.
things across ravines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was great. That worked out beautifully.
Yeah, me too.
Good look.
Chains look awesome.
Visually, though, one thing I would like, well, two things I would like, is when I think of a mine shaft in real life, I think of these big drop chutes where the elevators come up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really have that. Mine shafts in Minecraft are horizontal, which feels weird.
They do sort of have that. You get the rooms where they have the oak planks on the corners of that 3x3, and that's supposed to do that. It does link often to a floor above, but I think you're right. It needs to be more significant than just a single floor. Like I would like to see it as like 3 or 4.
Yes.
I'm all for that. That was one of my first points too, is I think adding more depth, maybe even on rare occasion attaching that to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe putting some water at the bottom so you could just drop into a mine shaft.
Yeah.
Or flooded tunnels in general.
I would much rather walk around and find a hole that leads, like a mine shaft pre-built hole, than the amount of ravines I've been running into.
Right. It makes a lot less sense that a mine shaft wouldn't be attached to the surface somewhere.
Right. The other visual aspect I'd like is maybe we have minecarts running on some of the tracks.
Another redstone example.
Exactly. Have powered rails and stuff so you can see the different kind of rails. Maybe different kinds of minecarts are running back and forth.
Maybe if you wanted to be real mean, have one with a tripwire or a pressure plate that drops a TNT minecart.
Well, and that was the last thing I had was traps. Having traps in the mine shaft.
Yeah, I don't want to...
See, I've got a trap idea as well. I think that that's something like maybe my trap idea, personally, if you don't mind me railroading this for a second.
Go for it.
Minecarting.
Yeah, minecarting. Yeah, let's mine rails, whatever. Something that, is kind of unanimous. That's the one. I can speak. It's okay. It's only 1 a.m. here. Something that is unanimous with caves is cave-ins, or mines is that notion of the cave-in. And I would love to see a generation trap rather than like in your desert temple, you've got the pressure plate and the TNT and whatnot. I'd love to see an ore that on the floor that's surrounded by gravel, because once you interact with that ore by breaking it, that gravel's going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to have that as a pitfall trap.
Maybe it's just luck of the draw, but I feel like I've seen that. Or the ones where like the top of the roof of the mine shaft are all gravel, And I've always loved that. Maybe that's just luck of the
Mm.
generation, because I agree that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they're specifically in the game, but I think if that came as a standard, be wary of gravel. I think that would be.
Yeah. Imagine walking down a mine shaft, placing a torch on the wall, and that activates this floating gravel that just now collapses on top of you.
That'd be so cool.
I would definitely not survive that because of my panic mode, but I think it would be a lot of fun. Like, and I'm advocating for that. Like, that would be it would be a great mechanic. It would make me actually think about what I was doing, because I have a really bad habit of I'll go around and block everywhere that I can so nothing can creep up on me.
Now, all of this said, I really don't want mine shafts to be any more dangerous than they are already. Cave spiders are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
There is one other thing that I would love to see in Mineshaft. Now, the generation happens, it all bases around the dirt room. I think the dirt room needs a facelift. I think we need to have like a foundry or a forge or something in there. Like maybe it's got a couple of chests and a lava source and a couple of furnaces, or a blast furnace perhaps in there. Like, really give it the feel of the beginning of a mine shaft. Maybe we could have a couple of ore blocks, like raw ore blocks in there, a gold ore block and a raw iron block or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like stacked on the side.
That kind of leads into my last thought, was just ore blocks stacked in different areas, or maybe like, I kind of like the idea of the mine shafts. It makes sense balancing the real world Minecraft that they would be more ore specific. So I'd like to see maybe this mine shaft has copper ore blocks and runs along a copper vein, or you see more copper there.
Yeah, maybe they tie into a vein.
Exactly.
I liked the idea, though, of the stacking the ore blocks, because then it would make each mine shaft have a treasure room.
Right.
Right.
And maybe that treasure room is guarded by these cave spider spawners.
Yeah, and I mean, that would give them they have a purpose of, wanting to kill you.
Yeah.
But it would give them more of that purpose
Mm-hmm.
of why the why the valuables have been abandoned
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if they're located near to the spawners.
Gives it a little bit of a storyline, a little bit of lore.
Lore is always good.
Trying to think of what I could add. I don't think I could add anything. I do like the idea of traps. I know traps are pretty common in the game. You got the desert temple trap, the jungle temple trap. I think it's called jungle temple. But yeah, I'm always down for more traps.
And maybe if we took it not along more traps way, but maybe you stepped on a pressure plate and it started a minecart. Because we all know you can't just leave a minecart running in Minecraft without it glitching some way or another, or seeing it through the world.
Yeah.
So maybe you walk through a mine shaft, you walk past a tripwire, of course, because there's string everywhere anyways, and it sets off a minecart that runs the course along you, or something like that.
Or leads you somewhere. You can jump in it and it'll lead you.
Or, maybe it leads to that main room, the main dirt
Mhm.
ore room, and starts the furnaces. And it introduces the concept of a super smelter, but like a really basic one.
Hope Mojang's taking notes.
Yeah.
I mean, hoppers would suit that. Like, if we go with a real world parody, you would see hoppers quite commonly separating ores from dirt and rubble. So yeah, it would make a lot of sense to see maybe one or two of them in there. It'd make it very valuable to find a mine shaft early on, because you don't have to use those precious resources for some of those elements.
Well, and a super smelter is such a commonplace, usable function in Minecraft nowadays that it would make sense that there might be a Minecraft version to say, here's the basics, run with it.
Do you know what else I want to see? It's not a mine shaft related thing necessarily, but I would really love to be able to put a raw ore block into a blast furnace, and even if it takes like one coal to smelt it, it smelts it into a block of whatever. So raw or gold block smelts into a gold block.
It does.
It does.
I've done that with copper.
I've tried it with iron. I may not have tried it with copper.
I did it with copper. Maybe, our server's a little different. We can actually use the blast furnace for sand, make it into glass. So maybe
What?
it's... Yeah, you didn't know that?
No!
Yeah, Winter's a genius. He got us that.
I've always complained about the fact that sand could not be used in a blast furnace, because that's how you make glass with sand in real life, is you put it in a blast furnace.
Right.
I mean, I still want a kiln that basically does the same thing as a blast furnace, but for terracottas.
Yeah.
Well, maybe with archaeology.
Well, maybe. I mean, not that I use glazed terracotta, but, I just like the idea.
Yeah. My mom used to work in a pottery shop, so I'm very familiar with the kiln. And yeah, if we get like pots and stuff in the game, we need that.
100%.
Not sure if we have too much time to talk Channel 64.
We did a lot of talking Channel 64 at the start.
Yeah, well, we covered a lot of good stuff about the new game and, changes and everything.
And I just want to put out there that I said this was going to happen before the show, and everyone was like, "Nah, we got this. We got time."
I was like, we should let them hear about Channel 64. But patrons are going to hear a lot about it.
Just to say, all we know is the fun admin stuff and the back end things, anyways. So I mean, that's what Jess and Pete are for next week, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys get a double dose of Channel 64.
That's true.
Unless you want me to sit here complaining about 14 hours trying to make mods work, but that's nobody's interested in that.
That's what the post show's for.
Maybe Winter would be interested in that.
Might have 30 seconds.
No, it's okay. I've complained enough to everybody else.
Well, I think that's going to do it for today's show. Before I have Jimbo read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are supporting our show. Our milk level patrons are Aubni, Crock, FragileRock, Casey Plays Games, OB, viperoustuna, and WyreGuy. If you too would like to get access to exclusive benefits and hours of extra content each month, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
And a big thank you to both of our guests, Aerington and Atomic Dave, for joining us. Would you like to share your plug for your YouTube and Twitch?
Mm-hmm. Basically, Aerington on YouTube, or if you want to find anything Channel 64 SMP, just search Channel 64 SMP. Make sure you put the SMP in there, or you get a bunch of news channels, unfortunately.
And I'm atomic_Dave, and find us on the Channel 64 SMP. And I want to say, big thank you to Duds and Jimbo for having us here. It's been absolutely great just shooting the breeze with you.
Been wonderful. You guys have been awesome guests.
Yeah, went real well. So if you like this show, you can share it with all of your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us so you never miss a future episode. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com. Tweet us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links will be in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be. And the amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found down in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. Probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.